Carried. Staff reports, Stan.
I don't have anything tonight. Nothing on the meeting. Nothing going on.
I'm just going to let everyone know the water tower's been painted on the inside and it's back online now. So I don't think anybody ever noticed any disruptions in their service, and everything went pretty smoothly.
Right.
I have nothing.
Staying busy on the building side, on the fire side, after the, a couple weeks ago, we had one fire. You guys did really good on that fire. Really impressed with people all out, and the other departments business with that. But then Monday night before our meeting, we had that tragic accident. And I just want to report when Darrell was back in engine 2 back into the station, one here on the officer side got killed off. He did have a spotter, but he didn't glance over to double check his mirror quick. It's the same mirror that's been busted off several times.
You need to get a folding.
It folded away. That's it. It's not that way.
Start on the budgeting for next year. Most department heads have turned in paperwork. Just pull them all together and call them myself.
No, sir. Thank you.
No, sir.
Nothing.
Anyone wishing to address council matters or not on the agenda tonight? New business, number 1. This is considered newly employed homeless program 2018. House system.
Good evening.
Hello.
So I'm Terry, and you are not familiar with me. I'm the Rural Wellness Coordinator for the City of West Burlington, and this is Amy Taylor, who is my colleague. So I have several papers that should have been given to you. The first paper is just the 2017 outcomes and 2018 projection. Before we get started on this paperwork, just want to let you know I deeply am grateful for your support towards our city employees, both administrative, public works, and police officer side, in bettering their wellness and health. This document in front of you, you'll have a lot of numbers. We'll kind of go through just a few of them just so you get an idea of what happened with the 2017 outcomes. Last year we did have approval to separate 2 programs, one for the city administration public works side, and then for police officers. So we'll go through kind of both of those. For the first, on the city program, we did have 11 employees agree to participate. And with those 11 employees, all did their biometric screening in November of 2016 and January 2017. They were new employees, and they did take their health survey online. We did do a post-screening just this past November, and we did have 9 employees complete the wellness screening. 4 of those did pass with 3 or more biometric markers, and 2 had improvements of 10% because they did not pass the CF5. Now, looking at the biometrics below, you'll notice that there are the years 2015 and 16, and then November 16, 17, which was just this year, and then the post-screening we just did November 2017. You can kind of look at the differences in the statistics. There were marginal improvements from last year to this year, and I believe that a lot of that has to come from the fact that the previous year, the majority of the employees did participate in Operation Transformation. There were successful major improvements from that. So it was going to be tough to make more improvements from that year. You'll notice that 2 that I would really like to discuss are the glucose and waste. Glucose alone, we had some kind of increases there. So we had a little bit more of a high risk from the past years to this November 2017 screening. And you'll also notice that we still have a very high waste circumference. Those two biometrics alone do increase risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, joint issues, gallstones, even certain cancers, and a lot of it does come from lifestyle issues. My belief is that nutrition and physical activity are two of the ones that we need to kind of hit home with these biometric markers to see improvements, and we'll discuss that for next year's program proposal. Risk status really didn't change a whole lot, and that's because there wasn't a huge shift within the biometric markers. So you'll notice that we did have low status stay roughly about the same within moderate and high risk. And then of course, with our number of risk factors for each participant, they stay relatively the same as well. Turning over, you'll notice that this is the participation side of the program. We did wellness walks twice a month. We had challenges throughout the program year, free cooking demonstration, education sessions every single month as well, along with my just kind of emails and talking with all the employees throughout the year. In my opinion, the participation was very well, especially for the side of the wellness walks, the education sessions, and the cooking demonstrations. If you look down below at challenges, we had 3 challenges: maintain, don't gain, ultimate point, create your plate in 100 miles in 50 days. If you look on the create your plate, that was a nutrition challenge. We had incredibly high participation rate with that. And I know that also the nutrition is an interest for this group, so I think that definitely would have had high participation that we did have. Exercise is something that's of interest in this group, but if you notice, completion rate of those challenges that are exercise-based, like ultimate plank, 100 miles in 50 days, were a little bit lower. Sometimes the things that we need the most are things we don't like to do the most. So I believe that physical activity definitely needs to be hit home again with these. So going over to the backside, the other part of the program was allowing the new employees or past employees who hadn't participated in Operation Transformation a chance to have their own success. We did have 2 employees start the program, however, due to medical issues, they were unable to complete the program. So that's why you'll see that 2 of them did not complete it. Now, we did put those 2 participants on hold. I am unsure of costs between the city and their own personal expenses, so that might affect our proposed budget itself. But they will be able to resume the program when they are fully medically cleared. So for my program proposal, we basically have a couple of options. Number 1 is that past programs have had an issue between biometric screening and health survey information. They were taking at 2 different times, meaning that the numbers that you really see are 1 year old. And so one of my proposals is to actually shift our health survey into the same time that we do our ending screening, which would be in November. So now that I can combine that information and have better statistics to report back to you. I've actually already done that and had several of the employees take this survey, so therefore we can start that process if we move forward with this program. Okay. Number 2 is if you look at the kind of the middle section there, the 3 main interests are losing weight, healthy nutrition, and physical activity. All 3 are very much something that the program will in place kind of help them do. However, I believe that there needs to be a little bit of a shift and change for next year's program. So in past programs, it's been, a lot of program based online through our Be Better Health portal that we use, and it kind of allows them to do things at their own pace without me kind of nagging at them a little bit. However, I feel like a little bit more of an individualized approach would probably work best. So last year, probably in the middle of the year, I took it upon myself to start doing workouts with whoever wanted to do a workout with me. Off clock, it was non-charge. I would come in early in the morning on Mondays and just do a workout with them. I saw major improvements from these individuals that came. We saw that their habit of coming to the gym increased. So they were coming on days I wasn't there. And they were reporting to me, they were telling me about it. We saw that their biometrics improved from their last screen to this screen just because of that. They were excited about it. thoughts is, can I do some more individual help with each person? Because one size does not fit all, and you know that. If you buy a one size fits all shirt, it doesn't work. So it's the same thing with a health program. My thought is to meet with individually each person, kind of looking at their needs, their goals, and helping them through that process. So we're going to heavily focus on nutrition and physical activity with this program. More of the education seminars are going to be nutrition-based and in the kitchen. They love cooking demos, and I did one with them specifically where they had to cook. They had a lot of fun with it. So we're going to do more recipes, more making sure that they know how to prepare those healthy meals versus just me simply giving the recipe to them. And then, of course, with fitness, we're going to continue with our wellness walks, but I would love to put in there workouts. For me, coming and helping them learn how to create a program would definitely be a little bit more successful than giving them a workout to do on their own. And not to mention just making sure that they understand how to achieve their goals. So there is a proposed expense page that you'll see. It is slightly higher than last year. Not enough to really make a big difference. The increases that you'll see are coming from my hands-on work. So me actually being more present with the program. So we've shifted a little bit with the program with being more individually focused and not so much on the challenges, so to speak, that are on the portal itself. Now, on the program proposal expenses too, I'm unsure about Operation Transformation and how much city actually paid into that yet, so that is probably going to have an impact whether or not that was costed out and whether those two employees are going to resume Operation Transformation. So that could be a potential that will cut out. We do have a capitated cost of $5,500 for that program. Are there questions about the city side of the wellness program?
I think we covered it pretty well.
So nothing about the city side? I would love to talk about the police program now. So last year was our trial run to work with the police officers, meeting with Chief Newberry, meeting with some of the officers, and looking at interests. We really made it purely fitness-based, all right? Their challenges were very small and minor compared to the city side, and basically, to sum it all up, there wasn't a lot of participation. We did have 7 officers that agreed to participate, and throughout the program year, it was very heavily participated in the beginning, and then it slowly started to dwindle on down the line. We did have all 7 officers do the pre-wellness screening in January 2017, taking their health survey online. However, in November, we only had 4 complete the assessment at the end. So not everyone decided to participate in that, so I don't have full biometric markers on them. However, for their challenges, one of the big challenges was called the gym challenge. They basically were to do workouts monthly, and there were tiered approaches, whether they did 1, 2, or 3 workouts a week. It would tell what kind of reward they got, and I kept track of that for them. Now, prior to the workout starting, Chief Newberry had already told me that every year they do a physical fitness assessment, and that allows them to get 1 PTO day off if they completed in 40% percentile based on their age and gender. So I used that to my advantage. So we went ahead and did a pre-assessment, and the workouts were supposed to help them improve those scores. Now, regardless of how many people turned in their workouts, which was not that many, we did still see improvements, which was great. We had 100% improvement in their 1.5-mile run. They had an 85.7% improvement in their push-up score, a 100% improvement in their sit-up score, and then 71.4% in their sit and reach score, which is flexibility. So regardless, we saw fitness increase, which is what we wanted. Whether that was me, kind of pushing them to work out a little bit more, or knowing that they needed to improve their score to get more PTO hours, it worked regardless. I Okay? Now, there was a second challenge called Boots on the Ground, which is just to improve their steps, improve their activity throughout the day. We know that they sit in the car quite often, and low amounts of physical activity are going to increase the risk of injury. So my whole thought was, just can we get them moving and can they record their steps? Again, participation was great the first few months, and then it became tedious, and they were unmotivated to track their steps. So not everyone turned in their steps, right? We also have an issue with preventative care screenings. This is an issue with officers specifically. All officers were supposed to get 3 preventative screenings from a list chosen, which is just the same as the city's guide. However, only 1 officer did turn in their exam forms to me. That's not to say that they didn't get it, they just didn't turn in their forms to me. Talking with some of the officers, if they are not sick, they don't go to the doctor. So I would love to try and see more preventative health for them, making sure that they're taken care. So my program proposal for them is to no longer do a separate program for them. Purely based on the thought that cost alone, right, is an issue, and 2, motivation is not quite there yet. I believe readiness to change isn't as high, but there are some that are very motivated, willing to change and wanting to change. So my thought is, let's let those who are motivated and wanting to do it roll back into the city side, and so that way they can still participate. And it's heavily going to be fitness, so for them, we're still going to see some improvements with it. Questions about the lease program?
I think it was a good idea to try it.
Good effort.
Good effort, and yeah, good participation, get in it. It's kind of phasing out. But I still would like to see them participate, and maybe back in the citizens side, participate on that part of it.
Yeah, it definitely was great in the first few months. I think it was because they knew they had this challenge, so to speak, and they were already doing it, so it kind of wasn't anything new for them with that physical fitness assessment.
So then that whole 7.50, that would include having replaced.
Yes. Because that's part of the eligibility file, correct? Yes. Which, by the way, is 24, not 23. That was my mistake. Forgot there's a new officer that had been hired. So that would be 24 eligible employees, not 23.
But we've never had more than 12 participate at any time.
For the city side.
And what kind of cost savings have we seen in the insurance over these past 3 to 4 years doing the lawn?
I don't know if that ever being able to track that dollar-wise, because you run into how much would it have went up if we wouldn't have done it. So it's kind of hard to see dollar-wise because it always goes up. I mean, we've had some times where it didn't go up very much, and it could have been because of that. I think looking at the numbers, though, I know early on that was one of the things you were concerned about, is those biometric numbers, and those are moving in the right direction. So it's doing our employees some good, and that has to save us some money on the insurance side. Just, you aren't going to be able to dollar and cents that out. I think it has to save us money when everybody's numbers are going in the right direction.
And is this the same people all the time that sign it?
Yeah.
So you can track each individual?
Yes.
It seems like about midway.
All lose interest.
Well, it's almost, I mean, there's a chorus that say, oh, they do everything.
I just see more participation for the cookout. Let me know.
So this price will change because this is based on like 23 eligible employees, and if we have a maximum of 11 or 12, because we can't make them participate. Correct.
No, I think the price is the price, right? operation transformation, and that's, they're on hold, so I don't think, we're trying to figure that out today, we never quite got it figured out, but,
We had been billed for those too. They're on.
You've already been billed for.
We've been billed.
so, and they're on hold from there, right? So if they start back up again, it won't cost us anything.
Were you billed the $600 per person? Okay, so then you can take the $1,200 completely off of the expense sheet.
Unless, could there be a possibility of a couple more employees being eligible, though, new people sign up, and then if they meet that? So you might just leave that in there in case there's new employees that sign up that could be eligible to participate.
Well, right now, though, there's no one eligible, right? According to the last screening, besides the ones that already did it, and the two that are on hold. There isn't anybody else that's eligible, or is there? I didn't think so.
But I was saying if new employees sign up, though, if there's new employees that sign up that meet that.
Oh, that haven't got
requirement,
screened before, I
yes,
get it, yeah.
yes.
That's possible. So that expense will only be there, and
If-
that, the employees pay half of that cost and only get their half back if they complete it successfully. So
They pay up front.
they pay up front. So really, it's $300 for the city, unless if they complete it, then it's $600.
So Dan, has anything changed in your opinion?
No, there's a slight, like you
That
said,
you recommended to us we do this?
yes, there's a slight increase, but everything goes up a little bit. So,
Make a motion, we continue with the wellness program in 2018 edition.
Support. Motion with support. Any further discussion, questions?
Can I ask Reno, do you participate?
I'm the person that works out every day. I'm one of the lazy ones that don't keep record keeping, and that's what they're referring to. I'm one of the worst ones, but I do work out, and I think at the end of the results, so we do our physical fitness test for the police department. Everyone that did pass, and we probably are one of the best, I say, well-shaped physical fit departments around here. If you man up, how many people we have compared to the departments and how many people participate. They may not participate all the way in the program, but I know about almost all the officers, but maybe one that does physical fitness every day in some form. But I do, it's hard to put down the donuts and keep it a record.
Roll call.
Bickler.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Okay. Item number 2, that was fun. Josh, are you ready? Consider options for employee health and dental insurance 2018.
Good evening, everyone. Josh Budke from True North. As the mayor said, employee benefits, open enrollment are January 1st. So the information that you have in front of you, if I can walk through that and then obviously answer questions that you all may have. Currently, the city is purchasing health insurance through Blue Cross and Blue Shield. The renewal for January 1st is listed in the second column. If we renew the same plan, Blue Cross is not making any changes to the deductible out of pocket. There is a 23.74% increase to the current plan offered. Right now, the city is under an Affordable Care Act plan. That increase is only based on the community-based rates. So it is not, just to jump back to the discussion earlier, not due to the claims of any particular member. Blue Cross and how they have rated this under the Affordable Care Act. Again, that the 23.74% is due to their overall rate increase. We did look at additional options. United Healthcare was not competitive. We do have Aetna options shown at the right. Looking at an option as close to the current policy as possible, we have the two purple shaded columns. The first you can see would still be an increase, but at 2.66%. To the far right, the increase would be 12.47%. Just briefly on the difference, the deductible and out-of-pocket, the plan has the same levels. The difference, when they refer to non-embedded and embedded, it's the individual on a family under the non-embedded program has to meet the family deductible before the insurance kicks in. The embedded program on the far right is more expensive because it would stop at the individual deductible. So better said, if I'm on the West Burlington Health Plan and it's my family, if I'm the only one that has a hospitalization, I have claims. On the first plan, the non-embedded, I have to meet the $6,850. On the far right-hand side, it stops at $3,425. Looking at the partial funding program that the city has, the lower deductible that employees or the plan is administered to, there is not a significant change in the claims. As we did the analysis, it would be more expensive from a partial self-fund to be on the non-embedded plan, but for the $26,000 difference, it would certainly be in the city's best interest to take the non-embedded plan if Aetna was the program that you chose. And I'm happy to get into more detail on why that is, but looking at Blue Cross versus Aetna, again, that non-embedded, the light purple at the 2.66% would be the recommendation with Aetna. True North, we're independent. Our job is really to bring options to the city. There are certainly some differences between Blue Cross and Aetna. We did have a meeting with city employees and described a few of those differences, one being the network of doctors and hospitals. Aetna does have a national network, but the Henry County Hospital and Clinics in Mount Pleasant is not a participating hospital and doctor clinic. So that would be considered out of the network under the Aetna program. The other area of change, most notably from Blue Cross to Aetna, is the prescription drug plan. Any change in insurance companies, they all have their own list. We have gone through the employees that have provided prescription drug information. It's not 100%, but the vast majority were on the Aetna program as well as the Blue Cross program. So again, there's certainly, from an apples to apples comparison, there are some differences. The deductible and the out-of-pocket partial funding, based on the contract that you have in place, would not be changing for employees. So they would have the same level of benefit. It would be again, the network of doctors and hospitals, along with being aware of possible prescription drug change.
Would Iowa City be considered in the network or not?
Yes. So Mayo Clinic, Iowa City, the Mercy Systems, Great River, those are all in the network. The notable in this region is Henry County.
We do have a couple employees that go there, that use Henry County. But for that price difference, I think we have to go with the non-embedded plan. That's just my recommendation of the 2.66% increase.
Josh, I want to give you an example. What would happen understanding in an emergency that everything's probably covered. But what happens if it's a non-emergency and there was an equipment failure at Great River Medical Center and they send you to handicap because they have the equipment there?
Yeah, that specific question was asked, and I did have written confirmation from Aetna that that would be a covered situation. Correct. So it is a matter of, there is out-of-network benefits, so the city does have protection if, and I guess I should take a step back to your, Mr. Mayor, the emergency, anything life-threatening is covered as in-network. The equipment failure or the lack of a local hospital being able to proceed that procedure or that care situation, it would be covered as in-network in that scenario as well. The doctor visits or routine care, that's where, again, specific to Henry County, would be considered that out-of-network benefit.
Dan, do you have any input from any of our employees as to their wanting to cooperate with us and cover some of this expense and pay any more for their insurance or anything like that?
No, I didn't hear anything like that. Gringo's got his hand up.
Well, we wasn't really asked that question, but I do know that several employees in the police department did discuss it, that he wanted to do that.
To stay with Ross.
To stay
I
with
think you're
the
talking
department.
double. What you're paying.
All I'm saying is that they were discussing, that's my opinion is, I don't know for sure if I would or not, but I do know that a couple of them would be willing to do that if it came to it.
But we've not sat down and calculated or presented that option to them.
No, but we kind of know how much that is, and part of the problem is if we do that, everybody's got to do it.
I understand.
And so if a few people want to pay more, that doesn't mean maybe there's a lot more. Maybe there's a lot more that don't want to pay for it. Okay. And that number's even bigger now that price is coming out. Because we were talking 40-some thousand before, and now we're talking 52.
Yeah, and there's no way I can sit here and not vote to say $52,000. I can't do it. However, I understand if I'm the employee, I would rather keep with Popular Shield. But I'd also be willing to pony up for that. But but that's just me.
I'm recommending, I'm changing my own too.
Yeah, I know you.
I might be more optimistic than some, and I'm just assuming that a big company like that is going to be fine. The option is like Josh will tell you, I think if it turns out to be a total nightmare, we can bail at any time. We can just not pay our bill and find somebody else.
The contract is an annual contract, which only means they reserve the right annually to change the rate. To Dan's point, it is a month-to-month contract as you pay it. I do have clients with Aetna. It would not be something that, again, no, there are differences, but I do have clients with Aetna that have been with Aetna for a few years. Aetna purchased Coventry Healthcare here in the state of Iowa. Aetna has been around nationally much longer, but getting into Iowa with that purchase of Coventry Healthcare, I'm not anticipating that this will be a train wreck, to use a bad analogy, but there is that right on a month-to-month basis if for some reason that it does not work out.
Obviously, before we did that, we'd have Josh try to fix whatever the problem was first. But
Of course.
Other questions regarding the major medical?
Ringo does, and
Sorry. It was announced on Monday that CVS is in process of trying to purchase that. Is there a forecast of when and what and how it may affect it, either business?
Correct. And the last report, it sounds like that, unless there are proceedings that happen to stop that could well go through. It's our understanding that there would be no change in, for example, limiting the pharmacies. If CVS purchases Aetna, it would not be a situation where they only allow people to go to CVS, for example. Typically, in a situation like this, that will have to meet approval. We would not see anything change in our contract for at least this year, potentially into the future. There is also the possibility that whatever form of Trump care or change to the Affordable Care Act would bring some more significant changes than a potential buyout. But we're not anticipating, again, the contract and if the city moved in the direction of moving with Aetna, that contract, they cannot change that mid-year. The additional information I have in your packet, the second sheet is simply a breakdown of the rates with the program. The third page in your packet, the city has Blue Dental. We made the change to Blue Dental. We can continue that program. There is no change in the costs for 2018. So even if there is a change in the medical away from Blue Cross, Blue Dental program can be continued. The last page in your packet, there has been conversation around changing the Flex provider, the company who provides the billing, COBRA administration, and the funding for employees. So again, the difference between the health plan and what employees receive on the major medical. We did do an extensive amount of research in conversations with Dan and Leslie, and I would say lack of response from many of the third parties in this space. It would be our recommendation to take the slight increase you can see in the renewal fees and maintain this coverage with EBS, at least for the short run. There will be a transition, again, if the decision is made to move the major medical, that transition, it will be a smoother transition with the third party that currently understands all of the nuances of the program that you have in place for cities. Feel like it would be far more disruption to move third-party administrators as well. That being said, there has been concern raised, and we will be working with EDS to try to address some of those concerns, and again, with the potential of being able to move those services as approved in the future. Other questions I can address?
Deductibles are all the same, right?
So the deductibles purchased from Aetna would be the slight lower amount, but for employees, we're funding to the exact level that they currently have based on the contract.
Make a motion to follow recommendations from our city administrator that we approve the contract with Aetna HPHP, the 3425 non-embedded.
Second.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was reading and talking at the same time.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Well, only quickly, and again, I guess I wish, and I know Dan and Leslie worked on this a little bit, but I guess I wish we could sit down and put some actual numbers to that and gave that to the employees just to see their level of interest. I'm not complaining or pointing any fingers, I'm just saying, if I was one of those employees, I would just as soon keep Blue Cross Blue Shield, just because they're the major player. You know, it looks like, as much as I can look through stuff, most of the benefits are about the same. It's just a preference thing. So, being fair to the employees, I wish we could give them that option, and I'm pretty sure, like Dan said, I don't think they're going to buy it because they're not going to spend extra money, but maybe the majority would. I don't know. And I think it'd be worth asking, at least.
Well, even if it is a majority, you ask the
No, majority wins. We live in the United States of America, the majority wins. We take a vote, and if you know, yeah, I get it. I know that's being bad, but
if you're one of our lower end wage people, doubling what they pay might be.
it might be, but I don't have any idea what that figure is today. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying we ought to try to make those numbers available so as employees, they can properly weigh it and give us their opinions.
Well, it's roughly double what they're paying, maybe a little more than that now.
And what they're paying now is this, and what they're roughly double is this, and what others are.
It'll go from 170 to 300 and something.
Some pay zero, some pay zero, it's right now 0 to 170.
Yeah. The ones paying 170, and the ones paying zero would have to pay another 150 if, say, it's double. So, I mean, it's a significant number.
And I think you're correct. I don't think any of them are going to, I don't think a majority of them are going to want to do that. I just think that maybe we ought to just make it available. That's all I'm saying. Okay?
I think it's something that probably needs to be addressed next time we have contract negotiations.
That's true too. Yeah.
Right now, you probably aren't going to be able to get anybody to over a contract.
You know, a good time to meetings next year, discuss maybe joining maybe some other government entities, maybe lower costs. I don't know if it's ever been done or not, but what we can even do, if it's something maybe we can look into to embrace.
Well, after this last meeting, when we had this meeting with everybody, all the employees, and you were there, and you know, afterwards, I told Dan and Leslie that I think in the next year, we need to start looking at something like that. And last time we looked, the cost wasn't very good to us either. So, but at least it's an option out there that we should pursue.
I think contract time is the appropriate time to deal with that, and we're a year out from that. So I think to move for this year, this is the best option, and that's why I recommend it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the recommendation, and I told you that earlier. I don't disagree. I just think we need to do a little more work on it the next time. And I'm sure the answer is going to be the same one you're supposing it is that they're going to say, no, we're not paying that much extra to have it.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Lees. Aye. Waterman.
Dan.
Crowner.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Aye.
McNair.
Carried. Thank you, Josh.
We need to do the well mark and the partial sale EBS. We can approve those.
On there?
Yeah. That's part of the health renewal and dental insurance for 2018.
Oh, and the dental, I was doing that one motion covered.
Yeah, she specifically said the embedded, well marked embedded motion. It didn't cover the dental and the EBS. Partial sale fund.
Is that on our agenda?
Yes, it is. It's
It's
considered
part of
options
that, part of that.
for employee health and dental insurance. It's part of the employee health program. And it says and dental.
No, it's in the same line. It's separate here.
Oh.
It's embedded.
Same.
It's embedded. It's embedded.
And I didn't get
So just make a motion.
Motion to approve the dental plan.
And you want to get EBS together for the motion. The purchase up front, EBS, and all that. Are you going to do separate?
I don't want to open this back up, but those things were not all listed like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, they are.
Okay.
What do they list there?
It's an employee health and dental insurance for 2018, it's part of employee health. The EBS is part of employee health, and it says and dental.
I understand that,
But
but I think Rod is looking for something on paper here,
Just
just like I am.
Yeah.
it's not there.
There's one simple line that says, consider options for employee health and dental insurance for 2018.
Yeah,
And we just did all that.
no, you said the ATNet portion of it. You didn't do the dental, you didn't do the.
Leslie's
the partial
concerned that
self-funding.
Teresa's motion only dealt with the health and not with the whole.
It just dealt with the ATNet portion. What was the motion, Kelly?
Was,
It was for the employee health, I know. I didn't say anything about the dental insurance.
the non-embedded, she did specifically say.
The non-embedded, admin non-embedded.
So we need a motion to do the dental insurance for 2018 and the EBS.
Well, and then Rod made that motion with his
The
support.
motion for the dental. It's for the dental portion of it.
Do you want them both in one, because neither one of them are truly on here the way they're supposed to be. So I will make a motion, even though it's not truly on our agenda, to approve the dental plan and EBS as administrator for 2018.
Now we have a motion with support. Any further discussion? Roll call.
I want to make that, I want to get in discussion, but it does say health and dental insurance on the agenda. So I don't want it to make it sound like it's not on the agenda. Rod, are you?
Well, I think we all understand.
Okay,
I
well,
think-
because it's not on the agenda, I don't want it to make it sound like
There's-
it's not. Ready?
Roll call.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Raleigh,
Aye.
Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Weeds.
Right.
Motion carried. Yeah, so we have
All covered.
health and dental insurance and EBS coverage for next year.
Thank you.
Thanks. And there's why I believe in national health insurance.
We may get there.
So we don't have to go over this. Item number 3, consider purchase of 10 pages for the fire department. Motion with support. Any discussion? We'll call. We'll wait for Ron, I guess.
He left, he left, and leave.
Oh, he was there, okay.
Raleigh,
Aye.
Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Weeds. Waterman.
Motion carried. And number 4 is to consider resolution designating Mayor Johnson as city's candidate to serve on the Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission Board of Directors. Support. Motion with support. Any discussion? Would anybody else like to see it? You're doing good job. Roll call.
Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Weeds. Waterman.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 5 is consider refunding the deposit for rental unit at 1110 West Mount Pleasant. $900 for the rent and the deposit, and then also $30.40 for the water bill. That the renter didn't actually use any of this money. This last month, I should say. Motion with support. Any discussion? I think during the budget session, we need to sit down and see what we need to do with this property. It's uninhabitable right now, and we probably need to let the fire
Lees. Waterman.
Motion carried. Matt, you got any comments?
Broadway, they should be opening up the right turn lane tomorrow morning. So there's still an intake top that needs to be poured. They're just gonna put some barricades around it. It's supposed to be in, I believe, tomorrow, but they'll probably wait till Monday to pour it back because of the cold weather. So
So what's the idea for next year? When are they going to start the process?
they haven't decided yet. So we'll sit down and have that discussion and take the Raiders' concern into play and see how it fits in with Mike Nelson's schedule.
Item number 8 is consider payment by Nelson's concrete paving for the Broadway reconstruction project. The amount of $171,200.77. Support. Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Stegler.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Aye. Motion carried. Number 9 is consider payment of W.L. Milling Company for work completed on the Year Avenue resurfacing project in the amount of $255,139.60. Motion with support. Any discussion?
So are you satisfied with everything?
With W.L. Miller?
All the work and everything?
Yeah. We still need to do, well, W.L. Miller, obviously, there's quite a bit left to do, but
All right.
Yep.